Chosen one. Pause for a moment. Before you think this is just another motivational video. Before you scroll. Before you dismiss this as coincidence. Take one deep breath. Because this message is not for everyone. It's not for the crowd that feels comfortable in the system. It's not for those who are satisfied climbing ladders that lead nowhere. It's not for those who feel perfectly at home in a world driven by noise, pressure, and endless hustle. This is for you, the one who has always felt slightly out of place, the one who can sit in a room full of people and still feel like a stranger, the one who tried to follow the normal path, and somehow, every time, something fell apart. Listen carefully. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lazy. You are being led. And today, we are going to unpack what that really means. Stay with me until the end, because this is not just inspiration. This is alignment. And if your spirit has been wrestling with questions about work, purpose, money, calling, and why your life refuses to look normal, this will answer more than you expect. If, at any point you feel this speaking directly to you, type, "I'm listening," in the comments. Not for me, for you, to mark the moment. Now, let's go deeper. From the moment you were born, you were introduced to a script. Go to school, get good grades, choose something practical, find a stable job, work hard, climb, retire, repeat. That script works for many people, but for you, it never quite fit. You tried to follow it. You applied for the jobs. You showed up. You tried to convince yourself, this is fine. This is what adults do. But something inside you resisted. Not laziness, not arrogance, not entitlement. Resistance. You would feel tired before you even started, drained before the week even began, restless even when everything looked good on paper. And you judged yourself for it. You thought, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I be satisfied like everyone else? But here's the truth that changes everything. Your spirit was never designed to thrive inside systems that mute your assignment. Chosen ones do not malfunction in the system. They outgrow it. There is a difference. When you try to force yourself into roles that suppress your gift, your body reacts. Your energy drops. Your motivation fades. Not because you're incapable, but because you're misaligned. The world taught you to measure your worth by productivity. Heaven measures you by obedience. That's a completely different metric. The world says, be busy. God says, be aligned. The world says, secure the paycheck. God says, secure the purpose. And when you try to operate by the world's standard while being wired for heaven's blueprint, friction happens. That friction is what you've been feeling. Let's talk about something that might challenge you. What if the reason certain jobs didn't work out? The reason doors kept closing? The reason you felt stuck or delayed? Wasn't punishment? What if it was protection? There are assignments tied to your life that cannot be fulfilled if you are consumed by someone else's agenda. There are people you are meant to reach that you will never encounter if you shrink your gift to fit into a cubicle of conformity. You were not sent here merely to survive. You were sent here to awaken. That doesn't mean you never work a job. It doesn't mean you quit everything tomorrow. This is not reckless advice. This is about identity. When you believe your only value is labor, you shrink your calling. When you understand your value is light, everything shifts. You see, jobs organize labor, but callings activate purpose, and purpose carries provision. Let's talk about provision, because this is where fear creeps in. The biggest question in your mind might be, how will I live? Bills are real. Responsibilities are real. Life requires resources. But here is the spiritual principle many never understand. Provision follows alignment more than effort. Have you ever noticed how you could work extremely hard at something misaligned and still feel blocked? And then, in another season, when you stepped into something that felt right, doors opened unexpectedly? That's not random. When you operate in assignment, you tap into a different kind of momentum. It's not frantic, it's not forced, it's not panic-driven, it's steady. When you say yes to what you are genuinely called to build, create, teach, share, or heal, you activate flow. That flow may start small audience, small income, small beginnings, but small obedience creates large outcomes over time. Many chosen ones sabotage themselves because they underestimate what comes naturally to them. You might speak encouragement effortlessly. You might see solutions others miss. You might create, design, organize, write, guide, or teach in ways that feel too easy. And because it feels easy, you think it's not valuable. But grace often feels natural. Your gift will not always feel dramatic. It will feel authentic. The tragedy is not lacking talent. The tragedy is burying it, because it doesn't look like what the world applauds. You've been taught to chase stability. But what if stability for you doesn't come from employment alone? What if it comes from integration, where your gift, your values, and your work align? That alignment is powerful. It changes your energy. It changes your health. It changes your relationships. Because when you are constantly suppressing your calling, you live in internal conflict. And internal conflict drains you faster than any job ever could. Let's address something honestly. Some of you have been called lazy. Some of you have been told you're wasting potential. Some of you feel shame because your path hasn't been linear. But what if what they call laziness is actually discernment? What if your spirit knows when something is not for you? Not every opportunity is an assignment. Not every open door is your door. Sometimes the closed door is mercy. You are not required to chase every option available. You are required to respond to what resonates with truth inside you. There is a difference between avoidance and alignment. Avoidance runs from responsibility. Alignment runs toward purpose. Only you can be honest about which one you're doing. But if you've been sincerely seeking direction, praying, reflecting, and trying to understand your next move, you are not avoiding life. You are navigating it carefully. That's maturity. Now, here's where we go deeper. Before you can step fully into your assignment, you have to unlearn certain beliefs. You must unlearn that your identity equals your job title. You must unlearn that rest equals failure. You must unlearn that speed equals success. You must unlearn that comparison is guidance. The world trains you to move fast. Purpose trains you to move accurately. Accuracy matters more than speed. A rushed yes can delay a destined opportunity. A fearful decision can entangle you in years of misalignment. But when you move from clarity instead of panic, you build something sustainable. Sustainable peace. Sustainable income. Sustainable impact. This is where many chosen ones are right now. In between. Not fully in the old system. Not fully in the new expression of their calling. That in-between season feels uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. But it is sacred. It is where your thinking is being recalibrated. You're learning to ask new questions. Instead of, what will impress people? You begin asking, what aligns with who I truly am? Instead of, what looks secure? You ask, what feels right in my spirit? Instead of, what pays the fastest? You ask, what builds the longest? That shift changes everything. Now, let's get practical. If you're not meant to chase jobs blindly, what do you do instead? You build intentionally. You start small. You activate what is already in your hands. Maybe that means creating content. Maybe that means offering a service. Maybe that means developing a skill more deeply. Maybe that means mentoring, consulting, teaching, building, designing, organizing, or leading in ways you've been hesitant to try. You don't need to announce it to the world. You need to begin. Consistency reveals clarity. Motion creates feedback. When you start expressing your gift, even imperfectly, you gather data. You see what resonates. You refine your voice. You build confidence. And over time, provision connects to expression. Not instantly, but steadily. The key is obedience, not impulse. There's a difference between quitting everything out of frustration and transitioning with intention. One is reaction. The other is strategy. You can work while building. You can plan while aligning. You can save while developing. This is not about irresponsibility. This is about refusing to abandon your calling. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You are not here to copy someone else's blueprint. You are here to honor your design. Your path may not look traditional. It may not be easily explained, but it must be authentic. Because authenticity carries power, and power attracts opportunity. Another important truth: you will be misunderstood. People who feel secure in traditional structures may not understand your desire for alignment. That's okay. They are not wrong. They are simply different. You don't need everyone to validate your path. You need integrity. As long as you are not neglecting your responsibilities, harming others, or acting recklessly, you are allowed to build a life that reflects your calling. Let's talk about hearing direction clearly. In seasons like this, clarity requires quiet. You cannot hear guidance if your mind is constantly flooded with noise. Social media comparison, endless opinions, pressure from family, internal fear, silence sharpens discernment, even 10 minutes a day. No phone, no distractions, just reflection. Write down what keeps returning to your mind. Pay attention to themes. Notice what energizes you. Notice what consistently drains you. Peace is data. If something repeatedly disturbs your peace, pay attention. If something brings deep, steady calm, even if it feels challenging, pay attention. Your body often registers alignment before your logic does. Over time, you will begin to trust that inner guidance more. And when you trust it, you move with confidence instead of chaos. Now, I want to address fear directly. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not making enough, fear of making the wrong move. Fear is normal, but fear should inform you, not control you. Instead of asking, "What if this fails?" ask, "What if I never try?" Instead of asking, "What if I look foolish?" ask, "What if this is exactly what I was meant to build?" Growth requires courage, not blind courage, informed courage. Test, adjust, refine, continue. You do not need overnight success. You need consistent obedience. And here's something powerful. When you walk in purpose, even if income grows slowly, fulfillment grows quickly. Fulfillment fuels endurance. Endurance builds mastery. Mastery attracts momentum. Momentum generates provision. It is a process. Trust it. If this message is confirming what you've been wrestling with privately, type "aligned" in the comments. Mark this moment as a turning point. Not because everything changes today, but because your mindset does. You are not lazy. You are being led. You are not stuck. You are being refined. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Your assignment may not fit inside traditional boxes, but it will fit inside your soul. And when you stop fighting your design, you will experience a different kind of success. Not just financial, but spiritual, emotional, relational. A success that feels whole. Chosen one, this is your season of recalibration. Unlearn the fear. Release the shame. Activate the gift. Build with intention. Move with clarity. Rest without guilt. Work with purpose. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to build differently. And as you step into that truth, provision, peace, and power will follow. Not because you chased them, but because you aligned with who you truly are. Your time is not running out. Your season is unfolding. Stay faithful, stay focused, stay aligned. And when the moment comes to rise, you will not hesitate. You will move with certainty, because you will know you are exactly where you are meant to be. Welcome to your alignment. Now, rise.